Joining us to talk about this key race and races in other southern states, conservative author, political analyst, and pollster Matt Towery. Matt, is this poll from Quinnipiac an outlier when it comes to the Florida governor's race?
Probably not. The race has begun. It started to trend towards Crist actually at the end of last week. Scott was leading, but then of course there was that famed Fangate incident in which Governor Scott did not want to appear on the podium, or was advised not to, because Crist in the debate had a fan underneath it, and that was apparently against the rules of the debate. And apparently some, I might say, boneheaded advisor to Scott suggested that he stay off the stage until that was resolved. It came across to the audience as if Scott was being persnickety and silly, and ever since then we've seen this race begin to move a little more towards Charlie Crist.
Matt, you kind of described this race in the governor race in Florida as basically a symbol of everything that's wrong with politics. What do you mean by that?
Well, I've been back and forth in Florida many times because I have a home there part-time. It is absolutely overwhelming to watch television in Florida. Every other ad is not just an ad that you would see normally in a political campaign, but these are vicious, tough ads. And on top of that, the debates, you hear terms used that you don't usually hear in a debate, like liar, cheat, just phenomenal type language that really you don't ever expect out of politicians. And I know Charlie Crist, and I also know the governor there. I don't know him as well, but they're both nice people on an individual basis when you're away from them. But you've got so many outside interests involved. You've got the trial lawyers. You've got the group fighting for the medical marijuana. You have, of course, some more pro-business groups who are supporting Scott, and they've all decided to get into the fray, making Florida just a national microcosm of the nastiness of American politics.
Well, speaking of nastiness, let's move on to that race for Senate in North Carolina. Kay Hagan, like other Democrats around the country, is trying to benefit from racially charged messages against Republican nominee Thom Tillis. But a Louisiana state representative has come out with his own message about race against Kay Hagan. Let's take a look at this ad, and then, Matt, we'd like your comments.
In 2008, 95% of black folk in North Carolina voted for Kay Hagan. The Democrats have created the illusion that they are the salvation of the black community. But who among us have they saved? In North Carolina, the poverty rate for blacks has risen to 34%. You see, black people are just being used by limousine liberals who have become our new overseers. We've only traded one plantation for another. You are not Kay Hagan's cause, and you're certainly not her charity. You are just a vote. She has stepped off your backs to fame and fortune and left you behind on food stamps, deprived of the American dream. 50 years of this so-called great society has nearly destroyed the black community. But now we have a chance to return the favor. It has come time to send Kay Hagan home.
Wow. I guess that shows how close the race is, huh, Matt? If Thom Tillis can peel off a few more percentage points of the African-American vote?
Well, yes, and Thom Tillis is beginning to trend up a little bit in the polls, just the most recent polls in North Carolina. Here's the thing, JD. You're not just seeing this in North Carolina. You're seeing it in Georgia. You're seeing it in the Florida race for governor. You're seeing it across the country. Wherever you have an African-American population of any substance that votes, race is being used not just as an issue that's sort of thrown out there, but the Democrats are working very hard to make sure that African-Americans turn out early in this early voting that we see, having a big effect in Georgia, for example. And I think we're going to find out whether or not the Republicans really are going to take the Senate when we see if Republicans can answer this on Election Day. The Republicans have not been strong in many of these states and in being involved in early voting. And so they're going to have to turn out in huge numbers on the actual Election Day, where some of these races that we thought were going to go Republican could end up in the hands of Democrats like Kay Hagan, who seems to always dodge the bullet.
So, again, just to reiterate, only about 20 seconds left, you're saying turnout is a problem in North Carolina in terms of early voting, huh?
The turnout's a problem all over the country in terms of Republicans right now. They still have the Obama machine to deal with.
Tough enough. All right, listen, we want to talk more about the Senate races, Georgia and Louisiana, next when we continue with Matt Towery.